That's our cue. I'd like to call this meeting to order on this day, Monday, November 9th, 2015. If Clerk Kornecki could please call the roll for us.
Trustee Aiello. Trustee Bolfus.
Here.
Trustee Kazone.
Here.
Trustee Case.
Here.
Trustee Taglia.
Here.
Trustee Wagner.
Here.
President Bullwinkle.
Here, if we could all please rise for the pledge. I'll lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You can remain standing for one more second. I'm going to ask Trustee Taglia to lead us in the prayer tonight.
Certainly. Our Heavenly Father, will thou be pleased to grant that this meeting thus begun in order, be conducted in peace, and closed in harmony. Amen.
Amen. Okay. For our guests here tonight, we have an agenda in the rack that's right outside the chamber if you don't have an agenda already. Item number 3 on the Committee of the Whole is amendments to the COW agenda, Committee of the Whole. If anybody on the board has any amendments tonight? We good? Okay, move on. Item number 4 is reappointment to commission. This is Carol Davis to the Community Pride Commission, November 9th, 2015 through April 30th, 2018. Can I have a motion for the reappointment?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Madam President.
Ooh, Trustee Case?
I'll second.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Aiello.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes, and Carol cannot be with us tonight, but we appreciate your service and your willingness to serve again on the commission. We'll get you sworn in at the next Community Pride Commission. Item number 5 is consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, estimating the tax levy for 2015 in compliance with the Truth in Taxation Law. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is the time of the year where the village board is to consider its annual property tax levy. The first formal action is tonight's resolution estimating the tax levy. A notice will be published in late November and a public hearing will be held on December 7th. The first reading of the tax levy and abatement ordinances will be held on December 7th, with final adoption planned for December 14th. The village's tax cap, meaning the majority of our tax levy, can increase by just 0.8% this year. This year, our resolution includes a total tax levy of $9,362,781, or 2.5% more than last year. This levy includes bond repayments from the 2014 road referendum. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do we have any questions and comments from the board? Or excuse me, from the residents first in regards to this issue? Any questions? Okay, now we'll toss it up to the board. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome.
I appreciated the memo from our finance director about this item we have on the agenda, and I thought that that what he presented to us about the issue of pensions and how that's gradually a dramatic increase from 2005 to this year. Mm-hmm. And I know that we've talked about this before. I know DuPage mayors and managers have tried to propose legislation that might lessen this burden on us. But I mean, just this dramatic increase, 23% of the total levy in 2005, 33% in 2015. I mean, do we foresee this to continue to increase, and what can we do as a village to, you know, I know that pensions are prescribed by contracts, et cetera, but I just want to know what measures we can take to kind of lessen this burden on our budget.
Yeah. Who wants to answer?
I know that's a tough question, but
It is tough.
yeah.
Either one.
That's right.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor, I guess.
Okay, yes. Manager Keener gets to answer this one. Let's try to answer
I
it.
think one of the things we could do is support pension reform. It's going to continue to increase, and while it's 30% of 33% of the tax levy. It's 51% of the overall property tax revenue between police and fire. It assumes 51% of our property tax revenue, and it's growing. It's not decreasing, and it's been growing for a number of years due, and I hate to say this, but through pot sweeteners through the state legislature or unfunded mandates. If you take a look at mortality rates, and police and fire have different retirement ages as IMRF folks, it makes a substantial difference at the back end, if you will, because maybe a police and fireman may work 20, 25 years, maybe 30 at the most, but living to 75 or 85, most of the pension is collected once they retire, and sometimes, quite frankly, it amounts to about $2.5 million. And I say that because there was a study done, I think, by Aurora or Naperville that showed that, and we'll have a pension discussion in early December, just when we're starting the budget process, to show what our police and fire pensions have done over the years, which have grown and grown. And unfortunately, it's unsustainable. And I'm not saying that the police and fire folks don't deserve a retirement. That's not what I'm saying. It's just maybe we need a different funding mechanism. And one of the mechanisms or changes I've proposed and talked about many a time is to combine police and fire pensions just like IMRF. There's one IMRF for the entire state of Illinois, but there's approximately 609, I think, different police and fire pensions, each having their own attorneys, each having their own actuarial folks, each doing their own investments, where IMRF just has one committee, and all the monies are pooled, and they have a much better rate of return. If you look at our return for our police and fire, I think fire is below 4, and I think probably maybe police is at 6, but IMRF is in double digits. And there's a reason for that. But, that's not well liked. Consolidation is not well liked in pensions. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But there's something needs to be done for it to be sustainable. It's just not sustainable right now. So thank you, Your Honor.
Sure.
I just have one further question.
Please.
I'm fortunate that I have a modest pension from my former employer, but other employees don't have a pension, were not offered a pension, exclusively on a 401k program. Do we ever foresee in the future where maybe there might be some sort of 401k program for public employees as opposed to a pension?
There's a constitutional mandate that you may not diminish or impair any pension, so that even if that were passed tomorrow, which it would never happen, but even if it were passed tomorrow, it would be 30 years before we'd feel an impact of the benefit because of what is owed today and the continuing CPI increase or mandatory increases. The other thing that is amazing about the pensions, unlike private pensions in most instances, are that not only what Manager Keener said about the life expectancy, which is a good thing, but also then their surviving spouse. And so you may work 20, 25 years, which is the norm, and receive a pension 40 plus. So it's a rough road to hoe, and I think it's going to be unfortunate if ultimately it's all lost. The question is, it's been determined cities can declare bankruptcy. Can the state? It's a scary proposition.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any questions about this? Yes, Trustee Taglia.
Pension reform is very difficult, like the attorney said, because of the constitutional mandate that pensions cannot be diminished. And even the bill that was passed in Springfield, the pension reform, was thrown out by the Illinois Supreme Court. And also with their dismissal of that reform, they also put in some mandates at the court level where it just makes it very difficult for us to change the way pensions work. So I think, like the manager said, and we had a pension board meeting with the fire board, and Kevin was there, and he gave a really great explanation of like what the manager was talking about, combining these hundreds of little funds into one big fund to give a better economy of scale so they could get a better return on their investment. So I think that's probably the best hope for municipalities. There's really not a lot of options without a constitutional amendment, and that's probably not going to happen. So,
Not easily.
but it's something we should all stay aware of, because it could become just a pass-through account for the pensions. So that's it.
Trustee Tagley, did you say that was discussed at a pension board
Yeah,
meeting?
the fire
Okay.
pension board gave a really good presentation on pensions, the way they work, proposed improvements to the funding and things like that. It was very informative, so, and thanks to Kevin.
Yeah.
It was a good lesson in finance.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions, if there were anything that was conveyed to fire and police about this in regards to this possibility. So it sounds like there's communication there. So, okay. Anybody else? Oh, yes, Trustee Aiello.
I attended the fire pension meeting.
No, sorry, I missed it.
And the critical problem seemed to be not the investment returns or who's investing in what or how they invested, but really the actuarial tables that were used when we originally funded these things expected people to live to 75. Now they're expecting them to live to 85, 90, and it's going to grow. That's the part that's going to really become the problem, more so than what your return on the investment is. But I am curious, is IMRF, is that a consistent thing year over year from one year to the next, that their returns are always better than police and fire?
I believe from my knowledge, it's been pretty consistent. But I believe when we do the pension presentation, we'll look at our IMRF also.
Okay.
That's only the fair thing to do.
And then, last thing I have is, I don't know how much our citizens and us can affect state government, but to the extent we can, I like the idea of some kind of reform. The problem I think we're gonna have is, and the impact, I don't think there's as negative of an immediate impact. I think that there would be an immediate impact. Because even though everybody that's got pensions right now, when it has a pension or becomes employed prior to the reform, everybody that we employ after the reform would have a different number. So there would be some benefit, because we would be funding those new employees' future pensions at a discounted number, theoretically. But I think we can all expect ultimately to have to work a little longer. That's all I got.
Okay. Anybody else? I'm looking at our finance director, Kevin Wachtel. I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add to fill in any blanks that there might still be out there. It's many things that we endure up here is complicated.
It is very complicated.
Yes.
There's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts, and
Yes.
a lot of the trustees have been to some of the pension board meeting discussions on
Yes.
the topic. And I just wanted to point out, I think this is a matter that every police and fire pension throughout the state is dealing with. So it's not just Villa Park. Everyone is dealing with these growths in the amount of the levy that is being taken up by these pension programs. So it's not just a Villa Park thing, it's not just police and fire pensions too. Some of these state pension programs are in much poorer financial positions than even our pension funds are, which is not to say that it's ideal where we are right now, but moving in a positive direction, trying to fund them better than what is the state minimum requirements to the level that is affordable to us while still maintaining our current levels of services. So it's a balancing act for us, and it's not an ideal solution long-term, but given the funding structure that we have, there was pension reform about 5 or 6 years ago that it changed the benefits for employees hired after that date. And so that's changing the trajectory a little bit, but it takes, as we mentioned, it takes a long time for those changes to really see the impact on the annual contributions, because the majority of our employees are under the old benefit
Right.
program, which costs more, not just now, but throughout, not just their time they're working, but throughout their benefit period until they no longer collect a pension or they don't collect a pension. So it's a long-term solution, lots of issues, lots of moving parts that go along with it, and there's not one easy solution, I'm afraid. So continue to work at it around the edges as best we can
Right.
and fund it as well as we can and hope that we get some solutions down the road, so.
Right. Thank you. Yes, Trustee Aiello.
Yeah, I think one of the things that the village has done, we have been better funded than most of the other towns around us, is my understanding, based on what our past information is. And I think it's good that we could take into consideration that police and fire have these problems with their pensions, and IMRF has the same problem. The schedules are gonna change, and life expectancies are gonna expand, so we need to get on top of it and get in front of it as far as we can, and I appreciate that you guys are doing that. And that's part of why fire had that
Right.
forum.
All right. Anybody else? Good? Okay, thank you. All right, with that, we're going to do a roll call vote. This is item number 5 on the committee of the whole.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Bullfuss?
Yes.
President Bowinkle?
Yes. Item number 6 on the committee of the whole, consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing change order number 3 to the contract between the Village of Villa Park and Orange Crush LLC for the 2015 street resurfacing project for an adjusted contract amount of $1,670,003.30. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with Orange Crush LLC of Hillside, Illinois, for the 2015 street resurfacing project. Proposed change order number 3 consists of additional pay items and quantities, as well as the deduction of quantities from existing pay items as necessary to revise the scope of work on West Terrace Street from Ardmore Avenue to Yale Avenue, from pavement patching and resurfacing to full pavement reconstruction. The net amount of this proposed change order number 3 is addition of $10,342.25 for an adjusted contract amount of $1,670,000, $3.30 for this additional work to be taken from the water supply fund. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay, how about the board? Just as an FYI, it's my understanding this is being done so we don't have to go back after the street is done and rip it back up again and basically do what needs to be done now. So, is that correct?
Your Honor, I think I sent out an email earlier in the week about West Terrace.
Yep,
I
sure did.
What happened, just so the folks at home
Right.
understand, and in the audience also, that
Yes.
internally, we replaced the water main at West Terrace through in-house labor and installed it. And then by doing so, obviously, we had to tear up West Terrace Street. And now it's under contract for Orange Crush to do pavement patching. And we would like, as staff, I noted in the email that staff would like the reconstruction completed for the addition of $10,000 rather than just the pavement patching. So it's a much smoother ride and more, it'll last longer. So, and that's why we brought change order number 3 before the board.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Thank you for the folks at home. Thank you very much. Okay. Anybody else? Maybe one last time? No? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Bullfuss?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Bowinkle?
Yes. Item number 7 on the committee of the whole, consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing a contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors Incorporated of Schaumburg, Illinois, for the 2015 East Park Boulevard Improvement Project in the amount of $1,397,533.16. Manager Keenan?
Thank you, Your Honor. The village proposes improvements to Park Boulevard from Villa Avenue east to the dead end near Route 83. The project is funded with both referendum funds and non-referendum funds. Village staff publicly bid the project with 12 contractors submitting bids. A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois submitted the lowest responsible bid in the amount of $1,397,533.16. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay. Questions, comments from the board? Good. Trustee Ayello.
Do we get anybody that bids anymore that wouldn't fit the responsible bidder?
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. I believe once you reach these kind of improvements, they have the training that needs to be for the adherence to the responsible bidder, et cetera. So I think for us, it's the lesser amounts for the projects, around $20,000. I may not have the internship or the training programs that disqualify them. So when you get to these larger amounts, they're
You
fine.
always have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? Good? Good down there? Okay. All right. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
Trustee Ayello.
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
President Bowie.
Yes. Item number 8 on the Committee of the Whole, consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing an engineering services agreement between the Village of Villa Park and Clark Dietz Incorporated for the 2015 East Park Boulevard Improvement Project at a cost of $115,000. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. The village will be awarding a contract for the reconstruction of Park Boulevard between Villa Avenue and the East Village limits. Clark Dietz, Inc. has submitted a proposal to provide Phase 3 construction engineering services to the village at a cost of $115,000. Funding sources for the project include the Street Improvement Fund, also known as this particular one, Bond Referendum Funds, Water Supply Fund, and Wastewater Fund. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, public, about this? Okay. Questions, comments from the board? Trustee Kazone.
A quick question. Did Clark Dietz do the Phase 1 and Phase 2 out there also?
No.
Okay.
No? Okay. Any other
Okay.
questions?
No, that's it.
Okay. Trustee Ayello. Yes.
Can we know the apportionment of the three sources of funding to the 115,000? So what portion, is there a percentage from the street improvement fund, the water fund, or wastewater fund, is it?
I don't think it's a percentage. I think it's actual cost. And Director Jacobs, do you have that with you?
If not, if it's
They're
not here,
looking.
that's fine. You know, later is fine.
Well, we usually apportion based on the amount of work in each area, so we use the contract amounts as the guide, you know, the portion of engineering based on the same. The water and sewer are relatively minor, compared to the road and storm sewer construction.
Complicated. Yeah? You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Are you good? Trustee Ayello?
No, go ahead.
You sure? Okay. Anybody else? Questions? No? Just curious to know, once we get this part of the project done, what's the timeline to finally get this project, this mega project underway? This is everything, including the kitchen sink. This is a big one.
Well, we will be sending out contracts right away, and then sitting down at a pre-construction meeting, and the contract will let us know whether they plan on doing any work before winter, or whether they just want to wait and start the work till spring.
Okay.
So they will be providing us a schedule at the start, and then we'll share it once we know.
Yeah. Imminent, whether it's before the spring or in the spring, so, yeah,
Well,
it's
they'll-
coming.
They'll start as
As soon as we
the
can.
weather's right.
Yep,
It's
okay.
about a 4-month duration.
Yep, yep.
We'll go into summer.
Yes, it's good. Long time in coming, so thank you. Okay, that's it, thank you. All right, roll call vote, please.
Okay, Trustee Ayello.
Yes.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus. Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
President Bowie.
Yes. Okay, now we will convene to the formal agenda. We have a few things on the top of the formal village president's report. My first question is an update on various projects happening in Villa Park, including the Cortese Park renovation, Ardmore Streetscape project, and the road referendum projects, and other projects related to road. So just looking for an update on kind of where things are at. There's a lot going on out there, so I'd like to keep that communication flow going.
Cortese Park?
Yes, let's start there.
Concrete is poured, the sidewalks are basically all complete, except for a couple minor sections. The Public Works helped with water infrastructure for the drinking fountain.
Yeah.
And the memorial
Yeah.
is basically finished. We need the capstones with 45-degree limestone.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for flagpoles, benches, and that type of thing. So it's progressing pretty good. They were off last week. They just waiting for some other things to be completed. Electric, we have to run some electric.
Oh, got it, yeah.
And water, so.
Okay, great. How far do you think you'll get before winter, which seems like it's coming pretty fast, but.
That's a good question. They'll be able to pour up until it gets too cold, and
Okay.
we have flagpoles to install, and then that'll probably be the biggest project is the flagpoles.
Okay.
And then once that's done, the sod, sprinkler system and sod, and that's basically it.
Okay.
And we met with the Cortese family to show them
That's right.
we're moving their family plaque, the dad's plaque,
Mm-hmm.
and so we wanted to get their input on the location.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Now, the various public works projects out there.
Okay, starting with the 2015 street resurfacing program. All paving work is complete except for the alley, which was partially paved this morning. They'll finish the end piece behind Village Hall here later on in the week. They had some concrete they had poured at the end here, so they have to wait for the concrete to cure before they can finish paving. And of course, terrace is
Yeah.
not done yet.
Right.
They'll be working on that this week. Concrete streets, all the work is done except for punch list and a little bit of striping. Ardmore Streetscape, all the concrete work on the east side is finished. They did begin working on the west side.
Yeah.
They're gonna go block by block until the weather puts that to a halt. And then the light will also continue with the underground.
Great.
The light poles will not go up until the spring.
Okay.
North Princeton water main, they just started a few weeks ago and all the mainline water main is in already. They plan on filling it up and starting the chlorination and pressure testing later on this week. So that contract is moving very rapidly.
Sure is.
Twin Lakes, all the paving and shoulder work is complete and they're doing sod work this week.
Oh, okay.
North Avenue Townhomes, they are planning to do the startup of the lift station on Wednesday.
Okay, great.
And one design note, High Ridge has been submitted. That's the STP
Yes.
project for resurfacing High Ridge, so it's in IDOT's hands under review, and I think we're scheduled for an April 11 on that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate those updates. Just a couple more things. The VFW is going to be hosting a Veterans Day ceremony on Wednesday, November 11th, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the VFW at 39 East St. Charles Road. So if you're around, please come by, be a part of the ceremony. They do a nice job over there. Also, they are hosting, again this year, Naval Recruits for Thanksgiving dinner. I believe they're still looking for turkeys and whatnot. So if you're interested in donating for the Naval Recruits, looks like they're going to feed 200 Naval Recruits this year. Give the VFW a call at 630-834-5051. Give them a helping hand there. Also, let's see here. There is something else going on. We have at the Villa Park Ace Hardware, looks like Lou Manfredini, who has the Mr. Fix-It show. They're going to be broadcasting live from the Ace Hardware store again. Let's see, on Saturday, November 21st from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. So come on out for free coffee and pastries, and then they're also going to be working with Life Source Blood Centers to do a blood drive, and also Misericordia will be the charity there too. So come on out and participate and listen to the show. He does a great time there. Also, just a little FYI, the police submitted some information about unlocked car doors again, and there was a rash of car burglaries, and all of the car burglaries were as a result of unlocked doors. So please, please, please remember to lock your cars. The crime of opportunity there. And then also, as you're cleaning the leaves off of your yard, please, if you're going to blow them out into the street, please make sure you clean them up. I don't know how many residents I saw over the last couple weeks blowing them out into the street and not cleaning them up. So please, 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 that's what gunks up our gutters and our, also the streets and the sewers, and just please clean them up. Please, please, please. And also the street sweeper is out there cleaning up leaves off the street that fall off the trees. So I'm told that it's gonna continue through until it gets icy out, basically. Is that basically when it, so you'll continue to see it out there cleaning the streets until they can't do it anymore. And that's it for my formal presentation here. Item number 2 then on the formal agenda is public comments on agenda items. This is in regards to items 4 and 5 on the formal. If anybody has anything in regards to items 4 and 5, this is your opportunity to come up, ask questions. Anybody? Okay. We're going to move on to item number 3, amendments of the agenda. This is for the formal. Does anybody have any amendments to the formal agenda? Are we good? Okay, we're going to move on then. Item number 4 is the consent agenda, A through G, and I will just read the headings for the record really quick. A is bill listing dated November 9th, 2015 in the amount of $611,971.56. B, minutes from Village COW meeting for October 26, 2015. C, minutes from the village formal board meeting for October 26, 2015. D, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, estimating the tax levy for 2015 in compliance with the Truth in Taxation Law. E, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing change order number 3 to the contract between the Village of Villa Park and Orange Crush LLC for the 2015 street resurfacing project for an adjusted contract amount of $1,670,003.30. F, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing a contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors Incorporated, Schaumburg, Illinois, for the 2015 East Park Boulevard Improvement Project in the amount of $1,397,533.16. And G, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing an engineering services agreement between the Village of Villa Park and Clark Dietz Incorporated for the 2015 East Park Boulevard Improvement Project at a cost of $115,000. I have a motion on the consent agenda.
Madam President, make a
Trustee
motion for
Bolfus.
the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any additional questions by chance from the board? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote then.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay, item number 5 on the formal. First reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, annexing territory to the Village of Villa Park at 2 North 151, 2 North 141, and 909 North Ardmore. The village is seeking annexation of 2 North 151, 2 North 141, and 909 North Ardmore Avenue. These properties are surrounded on 3 sides by the Village of Villa Park and the Village of Addison on the 4th side. These properties receive water and garbage services from the Village of Villa Park. Staff believes this annexation will improve emergency services for these parcels and recommends approval of the annexation ordinance. To finalize this annexation, staff proposes that this evening, Monday, October 26th, which isn't this evening, but was last meeting, will be the Committee of the Whole reading. Then on Monday, November 9th, tonight, the first reading of the ordinance will occur, which is happening right now. Then on Monday, November 16th, 2015, the second and final reading will occr. We have a motion on the first reading.
Madam President,
Yes.
make a
Trustee
motion
Coe.
on the first reading.
Thank you. Anybody else? Second? Do we have a second? Trustee Wagner.
Madam President, I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any additional questions and comments from the board about this item? No. And the residents in this area have been alerted. Is that right? Yes. Answer is yes. Okay. Great. Roll call vote.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
President Bowinkle?
Yes. Okay, item number 6 on the formal is public comments on non-agenda items. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to come forward, we can give you 3 minutes to ask us any questions or make any comments in regards to any non-agenda items on your mind. Okay, seeing none, move on to item number 7, village clerk's report.
Yes, just one announcement, and that is the Kiwanis Spaghetti Dinner. That's on Friday, November 20th at 5 p.m. at Willowbrook High School. This is the annual one that's been going on for a few years now. And hopefully the folks that come for the spaghetti dinner will also stay to enjoy, get the tickets to enjoy the play for the Willowbrook High School in their auditorium. But this is coming up on the 20th. Adult tickets are $7, teenagers $6, kids from, I think, from 12 to 5 get for $5, and below 5 is free. So it's fairly reasonable and very delicious meal.
It is.
Thank you.
I can concur, it's very, very good. Good job. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, village trustees report. I'll start to my left tonight. Trustee Kazone, you have anything for us?
Just a couple things. Annual Dan Gibbons Turkey Trot's coming up Thanksgiving morning,
Oh, yes.
9 o'clock sharp in Elmhurst. Last year we had about 8,000 runners, hoping for
Wow.
even more this year with supposed to be a good weather forecast. Pre-registration is November 21st from 2 to 6 at the Knights of Columbus in Elmhurst. You can also go online, www.dangibbonsturkeytrot.com, and from today until Wednesday, veterans are getting $5 off if you register before Wednesday, I think at like 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, nice.
So it's always a good thing. And I believe Dan Gibbons is getting interviewed tomorrow on Phil Park Cable. So it'll be on 10 o'clock during the week.
Very good.
So that's it. And tomorrow, 7 o'clock at Iowa Community Center is Park and Rec's meeting, if anyone is interested in coming to that.
Okay, great.
And that's it.
Thank you, appreciate that. Okay, Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to let village residents know that the Traffic and Safety Commission is scheduled to meet tomorrow, November 10th, here at Village Hall at 8 p.m. I want to thank Roy Strom for providing the roll-up dumpster for our pumpkin collection. We didn't do as well as other communities, but we did pretty well. And we were hoping to fill it up, but maybe next year.
Okay.
People were appreciative that we were, diverting those pumpkins to be composted, and it was a fun afternoon. I recently attended the Illinois Bike Summit, which was down in Champaign-Urbana on October 28th. Lots of interesting information provided at the Bike Summit. This was put on by the League of Illinois Bicyclists, which are now, they changed their name to Drive Illinois. And one really interesting thing that they kind of stressed is bike safety. And they have, I'm gonna hold this up for the camera. They have, they're promoting this bike safety quiz. If you go to bikesafetyquiz.com, there are 3 different modules, one for motorists, one for young bicyclists, and one for commuter bicyclists, and just to promote safety among bicyclists. And one interesting fact is that bicyclists have to obey the same traffic laws that motorists do.
Yep.
And if you don't, you can be ticketed. So just was an interesting thing. And I just want to make a correction to something I misspoke last meeting about the steering committee meeting. The correct website address is villaparkzoning.com. So I just wanted to correct my mistake from last meeting. And that's all I had.
Great, thank you very much, Trustee Wagner. Trustee Aiello, have anything for us tonight?
Just 2 things. District 45, 48, and 88 are all working on their future curriculum. So you're invited as members of the public and taxpayers in the area to attend and give your input into how you think our local schools should do what they should keep up with doing and what they should change. Next one is Thursday at Westmore School. If you check with your local school board, they can let you know which date would be particular to your school if you only want to go to the one school. And the second thing I have is in regard to developments and potential developments in town. And one of the things we do to encourage local development on the commercial and industrial side is TIF districts. And I'm curious if sometimes a TIF district can be removed. Can we undo a TIF district that we've already approved?
You can terminate a TIF district at any
Anytime
time.
you want, right? Okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
Okay. To my
That's all I
right.
have.
Okay. Leave us dangling on there, huh?
Yeah, I forgot I had to end it.
Yeah, but, yeah, okay. You want to do that? Yeah, Trustee Bullfuss, go for it.
Why?
Why do I want to end a TIF district?
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of reasons, you know. Sometimes it seems like things stagnate within a TIF district. And other times it seems like, well, if it's going to stagnate, then why do we even have it there? Let's just cut it off and maybe we can help the school boards in a way that it would help the school board not to leave it stagnated like that.
That wouldn't help the schools. When schools are hurt by TIFs, if at all, school board levies its taxes as a dollar amount, just as we
Right.
do. So they do levy their capability. Where you have major growth in a TIF,
Right.
they cannot access the new property. So, in my experience, the stagnant TIF, yes, if you don't think there's any hope, kill it. What's the point of doing the administration, requirements, administrative requirements? But on the other hand, where there's a TIF, there's always hope. And so the consideration, in my experience, would be when it's up and running to the extent we have no outstanding liabilities, that's when we could help our school districts.
And the TIFs we have, they already have expiration dates.
They all have estimated expiration
So if
dates.
we have a 20-year estimated expiration date, can we amend that later to change the expiration date?
You can amend it now. Anytime, the estimated date is 23 years. When you want to make that amendment to your redevelopment plan, you have to go through the entire procedure as if you were starting all over, which is a very expensive proposition. So I would not recommend that. I mean,
Right, so the ones we have out there right now, let's say, one that's got 23 years on it, we did it yesterday, let's assume. 3 years from now, I've only got 20 years left on it, and then the developer comes in.
Yeah.
He's only gonna gain 20 years of benefit of that program.
true.
I mean, he could have benefited 23 years from it.
Or you could do a deal with a developer that you only give him a benefit for 5 years.
True, right. Understood. Okay, so that's one of the reasons. And,
Understood.
If I threaten to remove a existing TIF district, I feel like I might incentivize owners within the TIF district to be cooperative with developers.
Because?
Because the TIF district being there gives them some value that doesn't otherwise exist necessarily.
But you said if you destroyed the TIF district, it would force property owners to be more cooperative with developers. I don't.
My thinking would be, if I'm an owner within a TIF, and you come to me as a developer, one of the things I want to market to you as an owner is that there's a TIF there.
Right.
If I become too, if you become too abstinent with my cooperation, or I become too abstinent with your cooperation, maybe the owner and the developer that are involved need to be reminded that we can always remove this thing and eliminate your
Oh,
source of.
I didn't get your
Debate.
point, right. We can use, right. I understand now what your point is, yeah. Right, maybe we should, if there isn't if they can't come to some mutual terms.
Right, if developer and owner can't come to
Understood.
terms, then you know what, let's
Right.
just get rid of the thing you're fondling, or
So
you're
Your leverage, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Eliminate,
You're-
just take that away from the equation and figure
Right.
it out yourself.
Because it's not a personal give, they're using the leverage of the community's activity in this development for personal gain.
Right.
Understood.
And then, in my thinking that it would help the school district, you know, some of the developments are gonna be residential developments that we hope to acquire. Those are gonna have an impact on the school. Maybe the school needs to update us on what the district anticipates their expenses are gonna be, because when we passed this thing years ago, or any one of them years ago, their anticipation of what their needs would be are significantly different potentially today than they were years ago.
Well, what the law provides is that if you do a residential development, for every school-aged child that lives within that development, there's a formula in the TIF Act. And the formula is, which takes into consideration exactly what you just said, the formula very basically, and it's a different, schools have different fundings, but the general funding rule is every year a school certifies what it costs to educate a child. So let's say it costs, which it does, $8,000 to $9,000. The state aid is $6,000, so there's a $3,000 difference. The TIF, if there's revenues, must fund that $3,000 to a maximum of 25% of the entire TIF revenue, so that there is a mechanism.
To alleviate the burden.
Mechanism. Not only that, but this village board, as President Bowinkle reminds me, entered into an agreement with both the school districts, pledging that we would adhere to that formula should we do a development which generated, the development doesn't generate children, but has dwelling units where children
Indirectly.
reside who then, right. You understand what I'm saying. So we do have an agreement in place, we do have an understanding, we have made the commitment to follow that law to the nth degree, and we would.
Okay.
So that was a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for drawing out the rest of the explanation.
It's okay.
Al.
We're scratching the.
leverage.
Madam President, can I ask a question on that one? You're talking about the TIF, and you want to hold that as leverage. Say you have 50 properties in the TIF. Can you pull out certain properties
Yes,
from
you
that TIF?
can. You can create a donut. The only thing you can't pull out is if you have a TIF, you can't pull out a property that eliminates contiguity.
Oh.
You can create a donut, you can create beginning, end, top, bottom. So as long as you don't, but that's another good point. Now, when you take property out of the TIF, you don't have to go through some big procedural thing. You adopt an ordinance, you take it out of the TIF, you publish the ordinance, and you send a copy to the school districts. So that's an easy thing to do.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I agree. I remember all that stuff, so
Yes.
that's all
We
I
did do
have.
Okay.
Nice work.
That's important.
That's right.
Thank you. Yes, Trustee Taglia.
Okay, just an announcement about Wednesday is Veterans Day. There will be a ceremony at the VFW here at Villa Park from 11 a.m. till noon. So come on out and support your vets. Should be a great event.
Thank you. All right. Yes, Trustee Case.
Yes, I wonder if we could put on our agenda an ordinance, to try and get an ordinance in Villa Park about the colors of buildings in our town or residential.
Well, actually.
I heard there's a new one that just went up,
You
so,
mean on Anderson Road?
yeah.
Yes, so I don't have any problem with that. You know, I know
Could
the.
you-
Oh, well, I know that the subcommittee that has been created to look at all of the zoning codes and ordinances, I'm sure that's probably at the top of the list. If it's not, it should be. We've got lots of priorities, but I don't know if Patrick Grill, our Director of Community Development, would like to further expound on that.
Well, just as you said, the committee that's been put together to update the zoning ordinance, that's one of the particular issues that we will be addressing as we work through that process.
And sooner rather than later. Yes.
Madam President?
And I think the village attorney wants to say something
I
perhaps,
think
or,
Trustee Aiello might.
but it's
also.
Trustee Case, I want to make
Yeah, I
sure,
still
yeah,
had the
because,
floor here,
yeah,
but-
exactly.
Go ahead.
That's
You guys
okay.
are wound
No,
up tonight.
and
Don't worry, they do it
what
to me all
I
the
wanted
time.
to
Now
say
you know how I
is,
feel.
may I-
Trustee Case,
may I
She's not
ask
yelling
the
at me.
permission of the village board
Yeah.
to research
There's a
whether
first.
or not controlling colors of building is within the realm, our municipal authority, of controlling aesthetics. And so I was going to say, let me do some research to make sure we have that right before you waste time developing parameters and get that report back to the board.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yes.
all right, well, see, that's good, we're wound up for
You
a
get very
reason.
combative these
Reading
days.
minds here, reading
I
minds.
wasn't interrupting, I wanted to
Yeah, yeah.
carry
I
on.
know, but I was just about to ask you to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, we know that's one of the priorities, because it's, yeah, getting out of hand.
Yeah.
We know it. Anything else, Trustee Case?
No,
No? You good? Okay. Was there anybody else on the others? Yes, I'm now that you're done, I wanted, anything else to piggyback on that before we? Nope. Okay, all right, that sounds good. Okay. Moving on to item number 9, village manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've just got a couple of items. I want to talk briefly about the protect state collected revenues owed to local governments. The DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, our local COG, if you will, kind of put together a few statements. I'd like to read one and then follow up with the amount of money that's being withheld from the Village of Villa Park. The state, which has been operating without a fiscal year 2016 state budget since July 1st, 2015, is currently withholding the local share of the use tax, motor fuel tax, gaming, wireless 911 surcharge, and federal transportation funding revenues, which are due to local governments. These revenues are collected by the state for distribution to local governments. The state argues that without a budget in place, it lacks the authority to distribute these revenues. However, none of the revenues being withheld are general fund revenues for the state and would not have an impact on the state budget if they were distributed. And so, board and folks at home and in the audience, so far, since August, MFT use tax, video gaming, total $253,126.51 that so far is being withheld. Tomorrow, November 10th, supposedly, HB House Bill 4305 is to be voted on by the House. If it passes, it will go to the Senate for a vote sometime in December. It is not expected to make it through the entire voting process of the Senate and would be probably taken and voted upon in January. And at that time, Governor Rauner, if that's approved, Governor Rauner has 90 days to veto that bill. And that would take us probably through mid-April, early May, before we had a determination of if we were going to receive any funding at all. So I will keep you apprised. I have a feeling that that $253,000 is going to grow quite a bit until April and May, when hopefully something will transpire. Just want to switch topics. Just want to, every once in a while I read the statistics from our code enforcement folks, so I kind of want to read a few things. I would like to make a comparison on the property maintenance violations. So far in 2015, there's been citations of 3,477 versus last year, 2014, of 2,635. Requiring follow-up inspections, 2,709 for 2015 year-to-date versus last year, 2,197. A lot of building inspections for this year, 869 versus 482 last year. Even the plan reviews, 207 versus 159 last year. Those are just some of the interesting ones. The final one I'd like to leave you with is the weed notifications. 1,105 for 2015 versus 683 for last year. Just some interesting stats. I asked our Director of Finance, Mr. Kevin Wachtel, to put together a fiscal year 16-17 budget preparation calendar, so I could kind of let the board know and the public know when you might expect the budget and capital improvement budgets to arrive. So we anticipate Friday, February 22nd, 2016, to distribute the recommended fiscal year 2016 budget and the capital improvement to the board and departments. Wednesday, March 9th, we're anticipating a budget workshop. Monday, March 14th, a budget workshop. Wednesday, March 16th, possibly a budget workshop if it's needed. Monday, March 21st, budget workshop if it's needed. And then Wednesday, March 23rd, a budget workshop if it's needed. We'll have a public hearing on March 28th, and the first reading for the budget approval will be on Monday, March 28th. Then Monday, April 11th, the second reading of the budget for approval. The board adopts the budget and 5-year capital improvement program, and then after that, we'll file it with the county. And then obviously, May 1st, the budget commences. So with that, Your Honor, I pass.
Thank you. Appreciate the time to, look at the budget as far and ahead of schedule as possible, because our budget are like this thick. It takes a lot of time to go through it, so appreciate the extra time to look at that. Really is helpful to the board, so. Okay. Moving on to village attorneys.
Yes, I have a report.
Yay.
Manager Keener and Officer Lay and I met today with regard to some new legislation which has substantially restricted our ability to enforce crime-free. And it took our village a long time to organize it, which was something that was mandated by this village board, that Manager Keener was able to finally accomplish, something that has been working to the betterment of the community. Meeting with Officer Lay, you can understand and respect the fact that the police department has been using it in a way to assist neighborhood issues without going to the extreme of actual eviction. It has been a very good program in terms of helping neighbors live with each other. The new legislation, however, restricts the municipality from having any ordinance that in any way uses crime-free to harm anyone that's been the victim of domestic violence. The problem is the language of the legislation not only protects victims of domestic violence, but anyone in the household visiting in any way. Moreover, in the event that the crime-free is ever used in any way which conflicts with the law, which again is very broad, the municipality can be liable for any damages, including attorney's fees. So it's become very restrictive. We will be sitting down, we're working on rewriting it, and to reflect the methodology actually utilized by our police department, which is consistent with the law, but we have to codify these restrictions, and it's not going to be an easy job. And so I am hoping that we can talk to other communities who have used crime-free in a very effective way to hopefully revamp the legislation to permit programs such as Villa Park has been involved with, and still restrict communities that may have gone too far, none of which I've heard about, but apparently there was some concern in the legislature, so that we have this totally revamping of the legislation.
Yes.
Madam President,
And,
question on that?
Yes.
This is over. It seems to create a situation where you have the following. I've committed a battery on my wife because I was convicted of a burglary, and I was going to be evicted for the burglary. So I beat the crap out of my wife.
And I have an
won't get
excuse.
evicted.
Right, you can't, right, it's exactly, you hit the nail on the head. So few people understand what this legislation has done. I can be involved in selling drugs, and I turn around as the cop is walking up the thing, go around and slug anyone in the dwelling unit, not only your spouse, anyone in the dwelling unit. Say, okay, can't get me, this is domestic violence, two people just had a fight. The language is so broad that it really, really restricts even circumstances. All anyone has to do is be a little educated about this law. In which case, as soon as you see somebody coming up, just swat anybody around you, and you can use domestic violence. Domestic violence is actually defined in that law as what's used in the Home Safety Act. Home Safety Act defines it as what's defined in the Domestic Violence Act. The Domestic Violence Act defines domestic violence as any harassment. So I guess you don't even have to slap them.
Right.
You just have to make a funny face.
Do you know what bill did they just pass?
It's been signed into legislation. The
Okay.
Public Act number, I don't know. Manager Keener is
can
going
get
to
that to you.
talk to other communities. It's very frustrating because, as I say, if you go through and the report was made to Manager Keener and myself, how our department has used it has been very effective. Nobody's been evicted as a result of it, but it has allowed the police department to let landlords know there are difficult tenants, so that maybe the landlord might not want to renew a lease. But no one's been evicted, and yet it's helped the village, as explained to us, to eliminate noisy parties that disrupt a neighborhood. Nobody's been evicted, but on that basis, the party has been dispelled or over very quickly. So, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Well, I just was curious because if I'm going to call some state reps and senators,
Hopefully we will get to you a report on the bill, a report on the changes, so that when you make the call, because we have a little bit of time till spring, we can hopefully educate each other. As apparently Trustee Ayala has been educated, we can educate each other to. Nobody wants a victim of domestic violence evicted. I mean, that goes without saying. That's not the kind of community we are. On the other hand, the burglar who slaps his wife as the cop is walking up the stairs, we don't want him around at all. And I'm saying him or her, whatever the case may be.
And to piggyback on that, I was at the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus meeting this morning. I'm on the executive committee, and this came up. The law goes into effect on November 19th, and I do have a number of municipalities I can put you in touch with. I
Super.
talked to the mayors of Batavia, Orland Park, and Aurora. We had a huddle session about this, and I'd be happy to fill you in on a little more
We
of that.
need to talk to
We
each
talked
other
about it today.
to revamp the legislation to
Yes.
be the protection they wanted it to be without being overreaching.
So, yeah, this is definitely a hot topic right now. Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate that. Anything else? You good?
Oh, no, thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 11, then adjournment. Have a motion to adjourn?
Madam President, make motion to adjourn.
Okay, for the second? Trustee Kazone. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, we're adjourned. Now, our next meeting was moved up a week. Next meeting is going to be Monday, November 16th, 7:30 here at Village Hall because of the Thanksgiving holiday. So we have back-to-back meetings. So next week, we'll be back here at 7:30. Thanks, Villa Park.
Jim, I'll have to do that.